Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. We are continuing and finishing our series on the clairabilities today. We already discussed clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and today we're going to discuss claircognizance. And if you're unfamiliar with what the clairabilities are, they're essentially just a heightened connection to our physical senses. And there are clairabilities not just tapped into the five main senses that we know. You can tap into a clair for empathy and a clair for emotions. There are so many different ones that you can tap into, and there are different levels of heightened awareness in each person. So, along with the four that I discussed in my series, I highly recommend you do more research and take a look into the other clairs that exist because you might be able to tap into the ones I did not discuss with the series. With all of that said, let's talk about claircognizance. So, claircognizance is essentially a psychic knowing, or what's better known as our intuition. It's this wisdom or awareness or knowledge that you know without being taught, and you honestly can't describe how you know this thing, you just know it's true. Oftentimes, with claircognizance, the messages that come through work in congruence with clairsentience. This is because it can cause physical sensations in the body similar to clairsentience, like chills or temperature fluctuations or goosebumps. But the main difference is the localization of the message coming through. With clairsentience, the sensation is the message. But with claircognizance, the sensation is a symptom of the message. And the message typically comes through your mental awareness or some sort of gut feeling. And claircognizance connects us to our most primal, intuitive understanding of the world around us. And the messages that do come through claircognizance are faster than thought. Again, it's a gut reaction. But if we're not careful or don't know how to distinguish the messages coming through, we can oftentimes let our mind override the message and begin to overthink and completely end up ignoring the message that did come through our claircognizance. It's important to start as simple as possible until you have a conscious awareness of how the messages come through your body. With enough practice and heightened awareness, you will eventually be able to learn to trust the messages that come through without even thinking about it twice. It does eventually become second nature to understand the difference between that instantaneous claircognizant awareness versus your mental thoughts. But it is so important to start out small. And with any of the clairs, I highly recommend starting with easy yes or no questions. And it'll help if you start from day one with yes or no questions that you know the answer to, so you can start to get an understanding of what the yes or no sounds like in your mind or feels like in your body. And again, the responses are instantaneous. So you will get that immediate yes or no. It's when we sit with that yes or no too long that the mind starts to override it and say, but what about this? Am I only saying this because of this? And that's when all of a sudden your brain starts to take over and override that claircognizance. And that's why, especially at the beginning with the discovery of this gift, it's important not to ask too many questions at one time, especially once that initial answer comes through. The more you're able to trust that instantaneous individual answer without needing clarity or assurance, the stronger your connection with your claircognizance will grow. So again, you start to tap into that unconscious truth and awareness and belief in the messages that come through. And once it does become second nature, it truly is a gift that you can use as a superpower in your everyday life. In my experience, when working with claircognizance, meditation is the best active way to tap into this gift. And if you're not somebody that really resonates with classic meditation, where you're sitting in a quiet place and tuning everything out, you can still go on walks or dance or move your body as long as you are in an area that is a safe environment, and B, free of any outward distractions. It's very important when you're learning to work with the clairs and how you specifically work with your clairs that you're not muddled by the energies of other people. And that's because the clairs exist in the quantum field. So if you're existing on your own in your own quantum space, you open up that space for the clairs to come through without any obstructions. Versus if you and somebody else are existing in that same space, the clairs can go to this person first, bounce through them, and then come to you. So it can get a little messy. So when you're first learning, make sure you are in your own environment. And once you are tapped into that divine essence, that meditative space, you can start to ask yourself those simple yes or no questions that really have low stakes in your life. You can ask, should I eat pasta for dinner? And you can feel what a yes or a no feels like in your mind or your body. And as you're asking these questions, again, pay attention to that instantaneous awareness of the yes or the no. and really pay close attention to the responses your body has to the yes and to the no. Because although that initial answer will be mostly in your head, your body can light up in response to that awareness. So if it's a yes, for example, you could get chills all over your body. Where if it's a no, you might have like a twitch in your right hand. It's all totally individualized, and that's why I highly encourage you to be curious and play around with how this clair interacts with you and your energy. The messages and the responses to those messages in your body are going to come through in a way that resonates with you. So it's going to look different than every other person that taps into these clairs as well. And as I mentioned, meditation is the best active way to tap into these clairs, but there's also another way that claircognizance can come through, and it's absolutely spontaneous. So we could be out with friends or at a coffee shop or just living our lives, at the grocery store, doing what we do on a day to day basis. And then all of a sudden get hit with this quantum awareness, this deep knowing about maybe you were thinking of a question or how to move one way or another in your life with decisions. In any case, I feel that when claircognizance comes up spontaneously, it's an invitation to tap into that active awareness through meditation. If you are somebody that feels, I don't want to use the word plagued, but for lack of a better term, plagued by this awareness in your walking life, it's because that clair is trying to get your attention so you can utilize it as a tool rather than just being bombarded by these messages through your intuition. Use those instances of claircognizance as a divine and an invitation to tap in. And remember, the clairs that you are meant to work with in this lifetime for your own abilities, for your greater good, will seek you out when you are ready for them. They will send you all of the signals you need to have that invitation to tap in however you need to, but it's about you being open and curious to learn more about them and play with them in congruence with them. And remember, always approach these experiences with a non judgmental lens. Free yourself of fear or worry as you swim in the cosmic depths that these clairs can offer. Explore your own unconscious caverns and those intuitive connections you have with your unconscious self. And remember, the sacred space of life is open and inviting you to play with it at all times. It's just about you having the ability and the curiosity to take it on, learn about it, play with it, and allow it to help you move and shift into the life of your own alignment of your wildest dreams. All it takes is that conscious first step. And if you guys have ever experienced little dings from your claircognizance or intuitive pangs that all of a sudden you didn't know how you knew it, but it turned out to be exactly the right information you needed at the time, drop a comment below. Tell me about your story. I would love to hear it. Would love to hear it. The more I can encourage people to tap into these clair superpowers that we have within us, the more connection we're going to have with each other, with the world, with the quantum field, and the more love we share. And that's how we make the world a better place. It starts within. It starts within. So dive in. The clairs are waiting for you.